Welcome back to In the Shade. We're a platform bringing awareness to BIPOC folks that have been murdered or gone missing, and also people of color who have been accused and convicted of committing heinous crimes. I'm Isabel.
And Jenny Wilson, and this is our 12th episode. Woo!
Yay.
I'm so happy about that. So, we have a quick summary. Just kind of going over our case today. We have Sarmistha Sen. She was 43. Clinical research manager who worked on cancer research, which was like super dope.
Mm-hmm.
She was a wife and mother of two, and she was attacked and killed while on her morning run in Plano, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas.
All right. So let's take a look at who is Sarmistha. She was born and raised in Sindri, India. She loved to garden and was a trained singer who performed Indian classical music.
Oh, that's cool.
I know, super cool. She moved to Bangalore for a master's degree in pharmacy studies. And then she married her husband, Roy, and moved to Plano, which is a suburb of Dallas, in 2004. Then she got her master's degree in molecular biology at UT Dallas.
Just casual, like.
Yeah. And then later, because she already had one master's, let's get another one. She got one in health administration from the University of Alabama at Birmingham. She was married to her husband for 16 years.
Wow.
They had two kids, a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old. And she was an avid runner.
That's dope.
She would wake up early every morning and go for a run before her kids even woke up. And, her kind of like ritual would be like going running and then coming back and then making breakfast for her kids and her husband. Her husband said that she could just immediately connect with anybody she met on a deeply personal level because she had a very infectious smile and energy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Sarmistha ran by herself most of the time, but every Thanksgiving, what families do. For example, her brother and Sarmistha's family would spend the holiday together and run like the local turkey trot in Plano or Walnut Creek, which is pretty common, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people do the turkey trot.
Right? They also do it like for families and things like that, or with their families. So Sarmistha joined her middle school track team. By the time she graduated high school, she was fast enough in the 100 and 200 meters to be considered for a spot on the Indian national team, which is pretty fucking impressive. And you could tell homegirl was fast as fuck. So she ultimately decided to pursue higher education. Super dope. I mean, she should, because she was extremely smart.
Yeah, getting masters after masters.
Right, like, oh my gosh, just really impressive. She launched herself into the science of cancer after watching her mother survive breast cancer, which is like, that's really cool to know that that's kind of what inspired her to go to school in the first place. So she went to UT Southwestern, where she directed clinical research within the radiation oncology department. That's like really impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So looking at the crime and what happened to her on Saturday, August 1st, 2020, so in the middle of the pandemic, her family said that she went for her regular run on Saturday morning, but then unfortunately she never came back. She was actually attacked while on the trail by 29-year-old Bakari Abiona Moncrief. So she was attacked on the trail, and then he moved her about 135 feet to the creek, running like along the trail.
Yeah.
And he then killed her there.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. The police affidavit said that she died due to blunt force injuries, and investigators said that it matches the weapons that were found at the scene. So weapons were left behind.
Yeah.
And then, this happened early in the morning on Saturday, since, she goes on her really early morning run before her family even wakes up. And then a passerby actually reported a female laying down near the creek along the trail less than 2 hours later.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, the police came and they found Sarmistha.
Oh, shit.
So she was, located super, super fast.
Okay, so Moncrief was arrested the same day for a burglary that occurred around 6 a.m., less than 600 yards from where Sen was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, a Ring camera captured a video of Moncrief using a large object of some sort to then smash a window of this home that he was burglarizing. And he kept saying like weird shit like, I ain't a coward, I ain't a coward. Like, I don't even know what like he meant by that. Whatever.
It kind of makes me think that he killed her first.
Yeah. Oh, and like
something
like you think the guilt hit him?
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe.
interesting. That kind of makes sense too. That makes sense though. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then investigators found obviously his DNA like pretty much all over the place of the home where he burglarized, but they found it on, for example, the handprints on the TV. So it's like he maybe just like took his hands and like smeared it or something. But it's like, why wouldn't you just take the TV though? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that part's kind of weird.
I think I read also in the article that he literally like took a monitor from a desk and just put it on the floor.
Really?
But he didn't like take it. It's like kind of strange.
That's really fucking weird.
Yeah.
We know this man is weird as fuck. Also, too, Moncrief was found at a short distance away. The affidavit said that at a gas station using an exterior outlet to charge his phone. So he went from killing, robbing. I gotta charge my phone to hit up the homies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Well, anyways, when being arrested, he also kept saying again, I ain't a coward, I ain't a coward, when he was taken into custody. So that, like, it's almost kind of like he was at, like you were saying, like admitting to killing her without admitting to killing her, you know, like, which is like very
maybe.
strange. Or I don't
know why else he would say I am a coward.
That, or like maybe mental illness too, because it seems like
sure.
you know there's obviously like something going on there. But when again about like him, I just don't get like the I am a coward part. But anyways, he's being held on a $10 million bond. I don't even know why you would give him bond, but I guess they legally do they have to?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So Moncrief is an out-of-state resident, was in town visiting relatives in another city outside of Plano. So why didn't you just stay with your family?
Yeah.
That's weird too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
why aren't you staying with them, and why do you have to charge your phone at a gas station?
Yeah, like, cause like, unless he's like walking around, you think?
Maybe.
But like, it's not. They're in the burbs though, so it's not like you're just like walking around.
You're not just walking from city to city,
right? Because that's weird,
far.
right? So I don't know. Police used DNA evidence to connect Moncrief to the burglary and the homicide, right? So like, kind of done deal. Lab confirmed that he had the victim's blood on his shirt and Sen's DNA on him as well.
Yeah,
okay.
Like on his body.
On his body, okay. He has been charged with the murder of Sen, but has not been sentenced yet. Because, you know, like the system, I feel like takes I don't know, I'm always questioning the system because I feel like sometimes, remember that one case we were just doing where like I forgot, he or she, I can't remember exactly, but they were like, the case like happened pretty quickly. Oh, the TikTok one. Was it that? No.
Oh, Daisy DeLo.
Was it her that like it was like happened like once they got him it happened pretty fast?
Yeah.
Or was it? I think that happened because he was a potential like flight risk. Remember he fled, so I think that may be. But, anyways, just like really interesting how like it favors some people versus other. But that's why we're doing this. A day after the incident, strangers, neighbors, and friends surrounded 2 trees near the park with flowers and hundreds of running shoes because she loved running.
Yeah. So yeah, since you just mentioned running, I think this kind of leads into kind of this next part that we wanted to discuss, and also like kind of just highlight the different types of crimes also that we cover. Like, it's like obviously we're covering this because she's an Asian woman who was murdered, but also I think something that we really need to highlight is that she was a woman who was a runner. So, you know, really just highlighting the whole like intersectionality of it
Yep.
all, and how horrible it is that women are too often the target of violence while running.
Mm.
What I thought was really upsetting when I was like looking at different articles
Mm.
for Sarmistha was that a lot of the times the articles were saying like, yes, women are often a target of violence, but it is quite rare that it will come to a killing or murder, which I think is kind of like downplaying the problem,
Yeah, no, I agree.
which is kind of messed up. Like, this woman just died, and we're like, yeah, it's a problem, but it's not that bad of a problem in
Right.
reality. It's kind of, yeah,
It's
it's
fucked up.
kind of disrespectful to her death. But then, yeah, kind of just wanted to bring some like metrics into the whole thing of this because, you know, we're two data driven
Right.
women. So, according to a Runner's World survey from 2019, they found that 84% of women say that they've been harassed while running. And then 43% of women at least sometimes experience harassment on the run, according to a recent survey, compared with just 4% of men.
Wow.
So 84% of women say they've been harassed while running, just in general, and 43% of women have been harassed recently.
That's so fucked up.
But just 4% of men.
Just 4% of men.
Yeah.
Are we surprised? No.
No.
Of the women who reported being harassed in the survey, 94% name men as the primary perpetrators, which is not, to be honest, not really surprising to me.
It's not surprising at all.
Whether it includes like honks, innuendos, and so on, like, you know, catcalling, all of that shit, and so on. A men's way of saying, you are present in my space and I'm going to let you know it's my space, which for me, I completely agree with that, because it's kind of like, that's what men do when they're like catcalling you. It's like, it no longer becomes like they completely pretend like you don't have boundaries and that they can like cross them because they're a man, and you know how men are.
I'm gonna let you know.
I fucking also hate that saying of like, I'm a man, and like, you know how men are, like with men like cheat and shit or whatever. Let men be men, right? Like, what the fuck?
It's so messed up. And
it's so messed up.
Yeah. So what I hate about this is, I don't know. I mean, like, I go running pretty regularly, and like, I always get honks and, you know, just like looks and stuff like that. And it's really upsetting. And like, I'm a New Yorker, so I'm gonna be the person that's like flipping people off.
Right.
And like, I feel like not a lot of people here in Austin at least do that. But I'm literally like, when somebody honks at me, I'm like,
girl, I feel you.
You know, but you know what, then if something were to happen to me, like after flipping someone off, you already know that people are going to be like, well, she shouldn't have like reacted that way. And it's just going to cause like another reaction from the man. And it's just like, so you can come into my space and let me know that I'm technically in your space. But when I react, then I'm suddenly,
you're in the wrong.
Yeah, the boo man.
No, and it's so crazy that you said that, because that's literally what happened with that that guy that like in like the one that's, you know, in like my neighborhood or whatever. I don't even have to say it because you already know. It's like, you can keep fucking with me and I do nothing, and then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I am gonna ask you, do you want like a Chicago ass whooping? Because you keep stepping into my space and my boundaries, like harassing me. You get to a point where it's kind of like, I'm going to react back, but then once you do, they're trying to gaslight you.
Yeah,
that's the gaslighting part that you just like mentioned, where it's like, they do some shit, you flick them off, or, you know, give them middle finger, whatever, and they're suddenly like, well, why'd you react that way?
Yeah,
you started it. Like, you started it.
So you can react, but I can never react. I always have to be like, you know, proper silent mouse or something. Which
is like so fucked up, because it's like, I'm a human being. Like, it's so crazy how like at least I know like in the US like how we treat women, and it's the fucked up part is like literally every single man you'll ever meet came out of a woman's vagina.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't
And
know. But
what I also find really upsetting about this is like when cases like this happen where women are being assaulted during their run, like people are always like, well, you should only run in the daytime, you should run
yeah.
with a friend, you should always like look all over the place, and it's so to make sure
It's
that
so unrealistic.
like, yeah, you should carry mace and like carry a gun. And I'm like, so I'm gonna just like carry all this arsenal with me while
Yeah,
I'm like
while
trying
you're
to
running.
jog, and like looking all over the place and like trip over myself because I'm not looking straight
Right.
ahead. And I can't run in whatever time I feel like running because I am gonna run into a man's space where they're gonna feel comfortable harassing me.
Right. Just like so fucked up because it's
Like-
just like respect boundaries. Like I don't know why the fuck people think that they can like overstep someone's boundaries.
And just putting the burden on women,
Yeah.
on the victims, instead of being like, hey, men, stop catcalling women.
Yeah, stop
Stop
antagonizing
harassing
us.
women.
Yeah, like
You
just
know,
leave like
just if you see a woman running, you should be the one crossing the street and, you know, walk the other way or something. Like, don't don't take over the whole sidewalk and, you know, like claim your space.
Yeah.
Like, give women space.
Right. No, I totally agree
Like,
with you.
make women feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
It's not our responsibility to protect ourselves against you,
Right.
who are creating this problem
Yeah,
for us.
and invading
it's-
like your personal space.
yeah.
They're so fucked up. I don't know why people do that. I don't know why people don't have boundaries. Like it's so weird to me. Like because my therapist and I will literally talk about like because my problem is I can be too fucking nice at times, and so respecting, like setting those boundaries like right off the jump, because a lot of the times when you are nice, people think that they can overstep boundaries, and so it's kind of like interesting to see like even with like running. Like men still don't have like any understanding of what a boundary is. They just like, oh, I'm a man, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. Well, it's like it doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, however you choose to identify. You know, like fucking respect people's boundaries. Like respect when someone says, or when like just respect that like the woman's space, because space is not just your space; it's a shared space. So just respect that. Like I don't know, people are weird as fuck.
Have some empathy towards women who are always who are predominantly the victims in these like running assaults.
Right.
Like recognize that that's a problem for women and try to make them feel as comfortable and as safe as possible.
Right.
Like, yes, it's not your responsibility or whatever, but like do something for women.
Right.
Like,
No. Yeah.
we need to always be catering towards men.
Why?
Like,
I hate that shit so much.
and it's just like, why don't you take your fucking head out of your goddamn ass and make women feel safe?
Yeah.
Like, actively make women feel safe.
I never understood like why is it that we treat men? I know it's probably like in history, but
The patriarchy.
yeah, why do we treat men like kings? Like we should be treating women like queens too, because they're literally the ones that like we literally carry life. Like we create.
We make bones.
Yeah.
Out of nothing.
Yeah.
We literally make bones.
We literally have the capability to make babies. Like that's some crazy shit. Like to reproduce, but we're supposed to be like below the person that we gave birth to. That shit don't make any sense.
No, we're
That
just
makes no
freaking
sense.
living in Handmaid's Tale.
I know, seriously. I wish a
Reboot.
motherfucker would tell me, like, oh gosh, I have to have kids. Okay, then you like what? And it's I don't know, whatever. It's just like that whole shit doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. I
All
don't
we're
know.
saying is leave women alone. Let us run at whatever hour we want to run.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fucking bother us.
I almost said stay out of our coochie, but I didn't know.
And
I didn't know.
also,
I didn't know if we could say
stay
that.
out of our coochie. Especially you, Greg Abbott.
Yes, fuck
fucking
you,
hate
Abbott.
you.
Fuck you trying to tell me what to do with my vagina that you had nothing to do with. What?
God.
Like, how motherfucking dare he? I wish he would push the baby out. Shit. Like,
God.
oh
I
my
wish
gosh. The things that,
somebody
like,
would roll him somewhere.
literally. I know Ocean. You know it too? Okay? Like,
I know some really great staircases.
I know.
Just saying. It doesn't even have to be the ocean. It's true.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What?
Take Ted Cruz with your ass too. Fuck him. Anywho,
Anyways.
yeah, we kind of like we kind of like
back
got
to the case.
yeah. Let's go back to the
So,
case. Kind of got a little bit off topic, but so now we're just gonna kind of talk about her family and kind of what's going on with them and like where they're at. So the community members left over 1,000 running shoes at her memorial site after the Plano murder occurred. The shoes were then donated in the name to Garland nonprofit Trusted World, which is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The GoFundMe page started in her memory and raised over $51,000 for causes that Sarmistha held dear, such as cancer awareness and environmental protection. Her husband Roy said in the 1 year during the 1 year memorial after her death, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional, which is like so crazy. Like that, I think that's like a really good quote that he said that, because that's really true. And he said, my goal was to make sure my kids can see something good come out of this and understand that one bad act doesn't wipe away everything good in the world, which is very powerful.
So powerful, and just kind of unbelievable how positive this man can still be after his wife's death. Like, I would be like, fuck this world.
I know. It's like one of those things where it's like,
this man's very strong.
yeah, he's like super strong. And I have to say, like, his last quote reminds me of like my favorite quote, honestly. It's like one of my favorite quotes that my dad told me growing up, because my dad like loved listening to Bob Marley. And but he said, just can't, and I even like have it tattooed on me, just can't live that negative way, gotta make way for the positive day. And I feel like that quote is similar to like what he said,
what he's trying to teach his kids,
because it's like it's so true, because like you can't live in that like that moment, and like mourning takes a long time. You're never like, I don't know, I feel like you're never fully, maybe you are fully like mourn the loss of a person. It's just like you start to have to redirect and start thinking about like the happy part of that person, and like kind of slowly just forget about that. Like it's hard though. It's hard to like not be stuck in a negative mindset when bad shit happens.
Totally. Yeah, so Roy, the husband, launched an online fundraiser where the proceeds go directly towards his wife's research, and as you said, they raised over $50,000. He actually then personally also added another $50,000 of his own personal savings to it. So then they had $100K.
Wow.
And then UT Southwestern chipped in another $400,000, and then kind of combining all of those funds leading to a new endowment established in Sarmistha's name, that will then continue to fund the work that she started.
That's so awesome.
Incredible.
That's super incredible.
So UT said, we're able to advance the promising new cancer research program that will improve the quality of life of all cancer patients.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then kind of maybe like as a closing quote, again, another quote from Roy. My goal is to be a role model for my sons, make sure that they are focused on the positive, and understand that this is an isolated incident. There's always going to be bad people in the world, but the world is mostly a positive place to live in, and these isolated incidents don't define us.
Wow.
So,
That's some real shit.
yeah. What an incredible man, husband, father
Yeah.
to just like live in that positivity even after such a gruesome,
tragic,
yeah, and
like trauma.
Yeah.
That was like he's living like through tragedy, trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and still being optimistic is no wonder she loved him so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of it for our 12th episode.
Yes. Lucky number 12. But
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah. Thank you for
be safe out there when you
Yeah.
go running.
Exactly.
But also, if you're a guy, watch out for the ladies.
Yeah,
Like,
just
give us space.
Give us space. Respect our boundaries, okay?
Yeah.
Please respect our boundaries and just mind your business and enjoy the rest of your day. That's literally all you guys got to do. Like, but anyways, but no, this is awesome. I think this is an awesome kind of like segue to kind of just like telling men to just respect women's boundaries and just respect our space, because I just like don't know why some people don't get boundaries. But hey, anyways, but yeah, thank you guys for listening to episode number 12, and like and subscribe.
Yep. We're in the shade.
Thank
Bye.
you.